Hey guys, so today I'm bringing you a video on books that I have recently unhauled. This is basically like books I have taken down off my bookshelf that I will not be putting up anymore. I have a really hard time getting rid of books, so I don't know if I'll actually get rid of them, but they sit in a box in my room. So let me take you through the list and tell you why I decided to get rid of these books. Disclaimer, if one of these is your favorite book, awesome. I'm so glad you loved it. Not everyone loves the same books, and it's okay. We're all different people. So the first book I am getting rid of is Recovery Road by Blake Nelson, which is also soon to be a TV series. I think it already is. I read this book beginning of the year. I think it was the first book I read this year. I hated it. I wanted to love it. This is the type of books that I like to read that deal with addiction, what comes after addiction, eating disorders, things that you don't normally see in YA, and this one just didn't do it for me. We follow a girl named Madeline. She struggles with drinking and anger. She's sent to rehab. We catch up with her when she is an outpatient, and she meets, I can't even remember his name, Stuart. She meets Stuart, who's also in the outpatient program. You're not allowed to have relationships in this program, but the two of them do, and it is so toxic. It is so toxic. And throughout the entire book, she keeps going back to him, even though he is clearly toxic for her. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but the ending, I couldn't have hated the ending more. This book was not for me. It felt very discombobulated. That's not the right word. It was just, I felt like the book was disconnected. It didn't flow well. They're put in different parts, and I don't understand the different parts, like why they are. Madeline has so many, there's so many characters in this book that you only see for a couple of pages, and the new characters are introduced, and it's hard to keep up with. And I mean, I just hated this book. There's nothing else that I can say. The next book I have is Orbiting Jupiter by Gary D. Schmidt. Again, this is a book I picked up and I thought I would love. It has a boy named Joseph and a boy named Jack. Yeah. Joseph comes to Jack's family as a foster kid, and Jack knows 3 things about him. Joseph almost killed a teacher, Joseph was incarcerated, and Joseph has a daughter named Jupiter. Joseph is also in the 8th grade. Well, he was in the 8th grade when he had his daughter. I can't remember if he's in high school in this or not. The book is really short, as you can see. It's a very quick read, but a lot happens, and I really did like this book for a while, but I really just hated the ending, and it ruined the entire book for me. I could not get past the way that the author chose to end this book. Again, I'm not going to do any spoilers in case you are reading this book or decide to pick it up, but just be prepared because the ending made me dislike this book. The next book I have is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I picked up this book for a couple of reasons. 1, because it was coming out as a Netflix series and I wanted to read the book first. And 2, I was a paid promotional partner to work with Netflix on the release of this series. And so I was like, I should probably read the book. I never read the book because of the movie and because of what it stands for, and I just do not agree. Again, this is a book that I would easily pick up as it deals with suicide in teenagers, the aftermath of that, bullying. This is my kind of book. However, Hannah Baker's suicide is portrayed as a revenge suicide. I mean, if you're gonna talk about suicide, you need to talk about the mental health that goes along with it. The depression Hannah Baker was obviously suffering from. You need to talk about more than just she committed suicide and blamed it on these people. And the author did not do that in a way that I would agree with. As I said, I never read the book, but I kind of know how the Netflix series goes. Didn't watch it, but it's just not something I can get behind, and for that reason, I am unhauling this book. The next book I am unhauling, I actually thought I would really love. This was one of my anticipated reads for 2018, and that is List of Cages by Robin Rowe. I'm not going to be talking why I didn't like this book too much because I actually want to do a full book review on it. I liked the message that was portrayed in this book, but I didn't like the way it was executed. The next book I'll be unhauling is Wasted by Susanna Daniels. I picked up this book at UtopiaCon, which is a book convention. Well, it's more than a book convention, but it is a book convention. I didn't realize it was an adult fiction, number one. And number two, it's just not up my alley. It follows a bartender whose name is Mason, a girl whose name is Lexi. It kind of reminds me of a Wattpad novel. He serves her a drink, they end up working together, they end up living together. This is all said on the back of the book. They end up probably together, I'm guessing. It's just, it didn't really speak to me. I read the first few pages. I really didn't like them. Nothing against the author, it's just, this book just really wasn't for me. The next couple of books I have, books that I had to read in high school and college that I did not like. The first one is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This follows the story of, doesn't even say the character's name on the back, but it's basically a utopian future where everyone is bred the same and they are pharmaceutically treated to serve the purpose of the society by order of their ruler. It was a good concept, utopian, dystopian. I have a really hard time getting into that. I think the only one I've ever really gotten into was The Hunger Games. Couldn't get into Divergent, and I'm not a fan of Brave New World. The next book I have is 1984 by George Orwell. So this is the story of Winston Smith. He lives in a, again, utopian society, I think. It's a world ruled by warring states and a power structure that controls information, individual thought, and memory. So they can do pretty much whatever they want to you. And they are known as Big Brother. Winston joins a covert brotherhood in pursuit of forbidden love affair. This gets him an enemy of the state and of Big Brother. This book was a bit too much for me. It kind of follows Winston through rebellion, imprisonment, torture, and then afterwards, like how he is. It talked about torture a bit too much for me. I really was not a fan. It just made me uncomfortable, really. The whole book made me uncomfortable. Not in the sense of Big Brother, but just, I didn't like Winston as a character. I thought he was boring. I wasn't really into his love affair, and then when he was being tortured, I was like, out, I'm done with this. That's why I'm unhauling this book. And the last book I have, I know so many people love this book, but it just wasn't for me, and that's Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur by Rupi K. Maybe I didn't like this book because I read it a couple days after I read The Princess Saves Herself in this one, which is one of my all-time favorite books by Amanda Lovelace, but I could not get into this book. Rupi talks about a lot of topics in here, a lot of things that are personal to her, and as in the other poetry collection, was the same thing. I loved it, I related to it. This one I just could not get into. I don't know whether it was the writing style, the way the stories were told. There are stories that I would be able just feel her talking to me through the pages, I would think, but I couldn't get into this book. And for that, I am unhauling it. So that is it for my unhaul video. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you've read any of those books, if you have the same opinion or different opinion, I'd love to talk about it with you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Finished my unhaul video and didn't even talk about all the books. I actually have, I think this, a signed bookmark by her, which I'll be keeping. I like that. I can't remember if the caste system's in this one or this one. And the next book why does my hair keep doing that?